Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I am a wellness coach, which means that I work with people on fitness and nutrition, but we also look at the big picture of how they can feel their best because I believe that everyone deserves to feel happy, healthy, and absolutely in love with life. And in this video, I want to share a story that's personal to me, and you might see that I'm a little nervous. But this story really explains a defining experience in my life that has helped make me who I am today and really informs my work as a coach, has really affected what I bring to coaching. So on August 15th, 2014, it's about 8 months ago at the time that I'm making this video. On August 15th, 2014, I went in for surgery, and it was supposed to be a laparoscopic procedure to remove endometriosis, which my husband and I believed was interfering with our ability to get pregnant, have a baby. So this is a procedure that a lot of women go through. It's very common. It's done every day, and most people have no complications. It's just generally pretty smooth. It was, an outpatient procedure, and they were telling me that the recovery could be as quick as a couple of days. Well, what happened was, and of course I only learned this later, but what happened during the surgery was, for some reason that's still not completely understood, my blood didn't clot like most people's does, as the surgery finishes up. And so instead I required multiple blood transfusions. My kidneys lost their blood flow briefly, and as a result, my kidneys shut down for, it would turn out to be about 3 months. They really had almost zero function, and that's common in, pretty much anyone whose kidneys have something happen like that. They lose function for a while. So it's not like mine was a particularly bad case. Actually, I was really lucky to eventually be able to get off of dialysis. But so in addition to the kidney problems, I had a really large incision from right here, you can see my hand, all the way down to my pubic bone, basically. Just cut me wide open because they thought they nicked a vein, so they had to go in and see what was going on. So a wound like that does not heal quickly. It took 5 months. So the effect of all this, I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I was out of work for 3 months. And I mean, it was bad. I went in just 35 years old, really healthy, really fit. And, a few days later, by the time I was anything resembling conscious again, I had to learn how to walk all over again, how to stand on my own. So, my body really took a hit. And right now, I'm just about back to normal. There's a few lingering health things, but I'm really, really lucky. And I definitely feel like I got a second chance at life. Not everyone survives something like what happened to me. If it happens to them, not everybody survives. So I feel blessed. I feel lucky to even be here making this video, talking to you today. And, I'm thankful for every single day with my husband. But in addition to that, I really feel like that experience taught me a lot about dealing with adversity and difficulties, because I mean, for obvious reasons, but just to go into a little more detail, because I think, people look at me and they see someone who's strong and someone who's determined, and that was always my personality. But I just had never faced anything that difficult before. Being on dialysis, if you've ever experienced that, it is not pleasant at all. And just being at the dialysis center, even being around people who were so sick, and most of whom would be doing that 3 afternoons a week for the rest of their life, a few of them get kidney transplants, but most, that's it. That's how their life is going to be. So just seeing that and being around that and being part of that for even a short period of time. Not to say that I was insensitive before, but I just never really considered what that would be like. And now I know because I've lived it. And, just feeling so helpless. Like, I had, like I said, I was cut wide open and I had this wound that I could not even look at. I did not look at myself in the mirror. Fortunately, I guess, I have really terrible eyesight, so I could just take off my glasses, take out my contacts, and I wouldn't be able to see. It's just all a big blur. So I did not look at myself in the mirror with my contacts in, with the lights on for, it was at least 2 months. And, I couldn't shower because I had a dialysis tube in my chest, so sponge bath every day. Well, not every day, but every other day. It just, made me realize how much I was taking for granted. It brought my husband and me a lot closer, too, because he helped me so much. He would help me with my sponge bath and my wound dressing because I needed it. There was so much that I couldn't do for myself at the beginning. He had to cook all the meals and just do all the housework too, when usually we split it. What else? I remember when I came home from the hospital, even I thought I was doing pretty well. Like I was walking well, getting stronger, but like I remember feeling like, okay, I'm home and things are kind of normal. And then I went in the kitchen and I think I was like, my parents had been staying at my house. The house was just like in disarray because all these people had been staying there and they were all consumed with what was happening to me. So not really like concerned about where they're putting dishes in the kitchen. So I went in the kitchen and nothing was where it was supposed to be. Or like they did the dishes and they put them away, but they didn't know where they went. So I'm reorganizing everything, and I just went to put a bowl away on the bottom shelf, and it was just like, no, I can't. Like, my body won't do that. And, just because I had a lot of swelling in my legs. So when your kidneys don't work, they don't take off the fluid off of your body. So whatever you drink, it's not excreted as urine. Didn't pee for a couple of weeks, guys. Actually, more than 3 weeks. It was kind of concerning. I wasn't sure at one point if it would ever happen again, but it did. Yay. That was a big milestone. But anyway, so even once things started moving again, still was retaining a lot of fluid. And that was another fun thing about it. I say that sarcastically. I couldn't wear any of my clothes when I got back home. Elastic waist pants, even like some of my yoga pants fit, or like dresses, thank goodness it was summer, baggy dresses. Yep, had like so much swelling. And, there was swelling around my joints. It was painful. So to get to that lower cupboard to put the bowl away was not even within the realm of possibility. And I had to ask somebody to do it for me. There was so much that I needed. I remember one night, my dad was staying and he was upstairs watching TV with my husband. And I was down here, our bedroom's in the basement. And I got kind of cold. I was like, I went to bed at like 9 p.m., way before they went to bed, because I needed a lot of sleep. And it was chilly. So I was under a blanket, but I needed another blanket. And I was so weak. There was a blanket at the end of the bed, and I felt like I couldn't get up, like stand up, get the blanket, and lie back down. I was just desperate. Like I texted my husband, I texted my dad, who was upstairs with him, called both of them. Oh, I guess their phones were not near them, but I texted and called them before I would just get up and get the blanket myself. That was how weak I was. So, this is coming from someone who was doing, headstand, handstand in yoga, like 40, 50 push-ups, easy. So, that was how far down I went. And it was really humbling. I think in the past, as a yoga teacher, I always tried to be compassionate, of course, for my students if they had aches and pains or limited mobility or, different physical constraints that that kept them from doing the poses easily. Of course, I'm not just going to be like, no, do it, get into the pose when I see that they can't. But it also, I just didn't know what that was like because I had never had anything like that in my body. So I think having experienced that firsthand, it's not even necessarily that the instructions will be different that I give people, but the attitude is different. So I think that now, I mean, to be honest, before I struggled with people who really had a lot of physical constraints and limitations. And now I don't struggle. I get it. I sympathize, and we'll work together to find ways that you can ease into it or do a modified version of the move. But as a fitness coach and as a yoga teacher, it's all about getting creative and like kind of meeting your body halfway until you can do the full move and things like that. But I just want to say that I'm very sensitive to those issues. And, when I say I coach people on fitness and nutrition, but we also look at the big picture, when you start looking at fitness and nutrition as a means to better health and feeling better, you very quickly get into other parts of life, right? So like if you get in a fight with your spouse a lot and then you always end up eating a bunch of candy, it's not just about the nutrition. There's an emotional piece to it, right? So that's how, all of the experiences that I had feed into who I am as a coach. Because it's not just about like knowing correct form for a push-up or knowing how many grams of protein is recommended for an adult woman to eat. There's so much more that goes into our health and our happiness, and there's so much more that goes into it whenever we start to make changes in our lives, even if it's just something simple like starting to exercise or, trying to cut out processed sugar. It very quickly has a ripple effect in other areas of life. And so I think, as much as what happened to me, of course, that doesn't directly affect any of my clients because it's my story. But at the same time, it kind of everything I do now has that lens over it as well. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about me. And, if you have gone through a serious illness, recovering from an injury, even, a chronic illness or injury that you're still dealing with now, I want you to know that I, as a coach, will really be sensitive to that, and, we'll work on ways to accommodate it, and at the same time, for you to see that you're not stuck, and we'll figure out some things that you can do and ways that you can grow and advance in your fitness and your health. So, hope this was interesting for you. A little bit of background about me. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.